Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. My name is Gabriel Brent, and just so you know, we are going to be going over the Forex markets here, looking at swing trade possibilities in the Forex markets. And just to get out all the assumptions, we are working with the Apazones trend following system, looking at the weekly, daily, and 60-minute time frames. Based upon these charts, we are looking at support and resistance, supply and demand, price action, things that drive the market. And we use this 3 time frame setup. We could put all these in 1 time frame, but just for the purposes of demonstration and for keeping it all simple, and hopefully for everybody to follow along with us, we are going to be displaying them like so. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. And if you guys have questions about the Apazones trend following system, please feel free to check out our website. That is the best place, really what the system pertains to and how we look at the market. So moving over to Aussie CAD, let's go ahead and start with that one. Looks like our trend is down according to our wonderful little market analyzer here, and if we look at the big weekly time frame, we can see that we just broke weekly demand down here. So what is that? Well, that's actually a pretty big market event in my book. This is big stuff right here. When we break weekly demand like that, you can kind of see that we've been going into range, and to break weekly demand, that is a big deal. Moving into the daily, basically the same idea. We know where this level was, where it was formed. We've highlighted it. We're talking about it. We've been looking short on this market, and over the past week, we've just continued to see to the downside. Okay, we have our little arrow drawn to the downside, so we're looking short, and it has really happened here for us. So down and trendy is what we're looking at right now. We've broken outside of the weekly range, and we're entering into the down and trendy type of motion. Moving right along over to the CAD dollar. We've been moving down on the CAD dollar as well, as you can see, just pushing down. It looks like we have some space to fall as well, so watch out below. We're coming on down here. And that's the weekly demand down there that we're looking at. And from our preview of last week, we were looking for a little bit of a pop, possibly pop to where previous support becoming resistance. We did see that once. It looks like we could possibly be seeing that again, and could be pushing down even further. Okay, so definitely be on the lookout for that. All right, as price pushes on down here, I mean, we have a lot of space to roll, so it's just a matter of trying to get on board into this market. As you know, we have a lot of space to free fall from the weekly, from the daily. You know, the daily level is there, and something that I love to look for is just confluence of multiple time frames all sitting up in one area, and that confluence really does a lot for me. Okay, so the weekly level, down here we have a daily level, and on the outside of it overlapping, and on this side overlapping it. Okay, so very interesting how that looks and what is the potential there. Okay, so as we come down here, I would be looking for price to kind of bounce off that aqua level, which is just overlapping the weekly level, and it could bounce there even though it's really close to the weekly level. Maybe it'll bounce there before it actually touches the weekly level. But it's really nice to be able to look inside the fractal confluence of multiple time frames and really see what's down there at key levels. Now, unfortunately, this level looks like it's well, actually it's from 2015, so it's not quite a year old. So we can actually push back that far here on our daily, or excuse me, on our 60-minute time frame. We can go see what confluence lies in that area as well. So let's go ahead and do that here, and we'll make this chart big. All right, so down there, this is what levels are there. Okay, so inside the zone we have this level. That's a nice fresh aqua level. Okay, and we have this level, and we're just looking at fractal confluence of multiple time frames here. And all the term fractal means is, just the pattern repeats itself over and over and over again. Okay, so that's what we see there. And if we overlap the daily zone just on top of this, best point of real support coming in there would be that little box, that little 60-minute zone inside there. That's where I would be looking to see the reversal come out of. Okay, so I think that's really cool how we can narrow that into place, and as we get into some of these other markets here today, you'll see how powerful that idea can be, all right, because we've seen a lot of bounces like that here this week. Moving over to the pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi has been in a downtrend. Looks like we're getting a nice little retracement to the upside here, but we're still down. So lo and behold, the daily says we're down and trending. Okay, so we're just looking for the pullback, and we're looking at a zone that was created here, but it didn't quite find resistance at this point. So we're just waiting patiently, and it's possible that at this level should be drawn just a little bit further down. Okay. Because of all this consolidation up there. So this could be the nice little gap movement that we see happening here today to the downside. So I'm still thinking down. The software is saying down. It's just a matter of getting on board, okay? So that's where the daily chart, or excuse me, that's where the 60-minute time frame comes into play, okay? So right now we can see two zones overlapping each other, but you can see that huge gap that we had right there, and it's really been kind of a gap and go. So some consolidation right now, but we're looking to get down, or looking to get short before we're retesting the bottom down here. Okay, so I'd be really looking at this one to continue on in that general direction. Moving over here to the Aussie yen. The Aussie yen is in a weekly range, just kind of going back and forth, back and forth. On the daily, we have this thing as being down. We're looking for price to bounce into this weekly level for last week's forecast. It has done so. It's actually hit off of the daily zone right there, and we are starting to just crater through these levels. So that was so a little bit of consolidation right here, and then we see the expansion to the downside over the past couple days. So I would say that our down and trendy thing is working out from the daily perspective, even though on the weekly, yes, you could say that it is in somewhat of a range, okay? The other thing that we also want to look at is the 60-minute time frame, and just how we can get on board using the smaller time frame and what that looks like. And basically just jumping on board when everything lines up. Everything says down. We've seen the consolidation area form, maybe an inside candle or something like that at a known area of resistance, and then just jumping on board like we should in the trend follow manner. Moving over here to the pound Aussie. It also says that we're down. It's wonderful that I can just sort these things by like instrument name or by up and down. It's really, really nice, and makes the analysis just so much simpler. Okay, so on this market, we've been down or getting a retracement on the big weekly time frame. On the daily, it says that we are down and trending, and you can kind of see if we just show the most current levels. We were looking for the pullback here last week, and we got that at the very extreme of this yellow zone here. And inside that yellow zone, we have a 60-minute zone. Okay, so I think this is very, very interesting here as well. You can see kind of again, the fractal confluence of the levels inside of each other, and kind of how that works out here on the daily and the 60-minute time frame. It did the nice inside candle and all that good stuff right outside the 60-minute level, and then we see big expansion candles coming out of there. Okay, so it's been a little bit of a chop too, as it's not been huge expansion, not like we've seen this thing roar to the upside here, but we did see an expansion candle there and in there too. So that is what I noticed about this one. And again, this is just looking for the pullback in the downwards trend direction. Okay, want to keep it very simple, very straightforward. Moving over here to the pound yen. As you can see on the big weekly charts, we have moved to the down. We've found demand. We're coming back up to supply, and now we're going to see how strong is this demand down here. Okay, so that is truly the question. How strong is the demand? So on the daily time frame, I guess it shouldn't surprise you here. We've encountered a new low, and we've kind of retested the high of this level right there, as the software has automatically drawn out for us. And as we look at this level, like I see this as being so close, just to something right there, like that's just so close to that zone. And I really feel like we can give another good retest of all this consolidation and basically of the level that is created that's just below us now. And that's what I feel. I feel that's why the big bar is where it is, because we know where high is, we know where low is, and if we know where consolidation is, what happens in between areas of consolidation, expansion. And that's what I see happening right there. So as we look to get on board here, you can use the smaller 60-minute time frame to basically be looking to, well, and in my mind, this is kind of forming like a head and shoulders pattern here. So it's done that in tremendous fashion, actually. So this is kind of an interesting one here. So I'd be continuing to look for this thing to push even lower. Come on over here to the euro pound. Now the euro pound has kind of been an interesting market. I've been watching this one this week, and you can see the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute time frames all coming together in really kind of a cool confluence. And we're seeing, I'm just going to elaborate a little bit here on this one. You can see that as we're looking at the weekly and the daily, and then the 60-minute, prices just come down there and barely kiss that 60-minute time frame. Okay, so the fractal is holding very nicely. Are we going to see it to the upside? That was a forecast from last week, to come down a little bit more, touch this level, and then back up. And so we're still waiting for that to happen. I guess we could get rid of this little portion because we've already seen it come down. But now, how is it going to come back up? We're starting to put into the nice consolidation candles here for the past couple days, looking for like inside bars, consolidating candles, things of that nature. We're touching on all those zone confluences down to the tick off of that 60-minute level, and we're going to be looking for it to come up. Right now, I would really like to see maybe another quick retest of this consolidation area, be looking long out of the daily / 60-minute level again here, or you can wait until after we cross like this little blue line here. To me, that represents the fact that price action has really failed to do something down there, and that we would be looking to move to the upside here. But again, that would be kind of the area of consolidation that my eye can see right now. Moving right along, the Aussie Swiss looks like it is big range, for lack of a better term. Thing has been drifting to the upside here. Well, I was just looking at this, and you guys may remember that that pattern that we have been seeing on the euro dollar as well as the Kiwi dollar. I was looking at that, and I see a higher low right there, and then usually what happens is a retest like right in the middle, which that's what we just got here, and then looking for kind of the breakout to the upside. And we do have a new high here, but it's still just touching the zone. So this is yet to confirm that pattern, but this isn't as strong of a pattern in my mind as what we saw like on the euro, dollar, and the kiwi. Let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. Actually, we'll just wait because they're down out there at the bottom, but it's kind of a similar pattern for me on this one as well. So are we going to see this thing break to the upside here? It's very possible, but time will tell. So I'm going to just draw the, actually that's already done. That's what we were looking for last week, is this thing makes a new high, gives us a retracement back down here, possibly looking, you know, right around that level, and then breaking into a new high. So I guess I could redraw things a little bit here. It wasn't a very, this pullback looks like it's going to be a little bit deeper. Last week I think we were looking for a pretty shallow pullback. If we turn on the dead levels, you can see this little continuation zone right there. So it looks like the pullback's going to be a little bit deeper, and that's okay. You know, I don't mind having the pullback all the way down there. But that's what I would be looking for as far as the market action here shows us. And that's okay. You know, you don't want to force a trade and make it have to do something. You just want to roll with the trend, right? Sometimes you might have to take a couple stabs at it, and that's okay. You know, we just want to be good risk managers and everything that entails. So if you're not familiar with like how to build a solid business plan around your trade plan, you know, check out the Apazon's website. We do all that kind of good stuff over there too. That's what I'm thinking on this particular market, and it really kind of seems like that same pattern might be playing out on the Aussie Swiss as the New Zealand dollar and the Euro dollar. So I thought that's kind of interesting how that may be working. Over here on the Aussie dollar, we find ourselves hitting weekly supply and coming down. Now, is price going to break even lower and come down here and retest the bottoms? I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I don't know. The market can do anything that it wants to do. For right now, on our context charts, we have the trend is up, okay? And as we're looking at the trend being up, I've identified a couple of these daily levels, okay? And we're just now getting the bounce off the daily level, and apparently this is that check mark trade that we've been talking about here. And as we look at this thing, you know, this is a real decent pullback area right now. Okay, so as we break it down into the 60-minute time frame, we're just looking to get on board here, you know, to ride it back up here to the top, you know. Now, when is a good time to get on? Well, that's a good question. What I like to do is wait for confirmation of these levels before I get on board here to the long side. So I'm going to be waiting for confirmation to the upside before I get long. Poising, kind of an example here would be something like this, okay? If we circle this little area right here, I'd be waiting for price to come down here, touch this level, and then be looking to get long out of this, okay? Because that's the retest of this zone down here, which coincides with the daily level and all that kind of good stuff, all right? So that's the kind of stuff that I'd be waiting for. And usually when I do that and I get long out of something like this, I usually get a quick pop. And that quick pop really helps solidify a lot of what I'm thinking is true. If it doesn't give me that quick pop in the next couple bars after getting into a position, I can usually get out and be taking profits and reevaluate the situation, because maybe it'll go even lower or something like that. An interesting case of that happening on one of these markets here, I believe on this market. No, actually I take that back. It wasn't on that market. But I was actually looking short today, or not today, but earlier this week, and had the right idea. It wasn't forming exactly like I wanted it to form. So you just need to keep that idea in mind and just keep on pushing into that until your position works out for you. You know, sometimes it might take a couple entries before you find that good one that sticks, and a lot of times you'll see that momentum rush in right away, and it's just a really great feeling when that happens. So moving down here to the Aussie dollar, this is the one that we were looking at, this big reversal pattern happening here on the weekly and the daily. It's kind of happening here on the weekly, but not as much as like the euro dollar, but more so on the daily charts. We have now the up and trending motion here, and this is the pattern that I like to see. So basically we have a low, a higher low, you have all this kind of range right in the middle, and then it retests right in the middle of the range, and it pops up again, giving us a new high. And I'm looking for this thing to keep on soaring here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, and just realize that this is happening on a daily time frame. If you're day trading this market, you know, like, this is our bigger trend here to the upside. So don't be surprised to see big expansion candles happen on the daily time frame. But been watching this one for a few weeks, as you guys know, and it's been working out really, really well there. So, and again, that was the pattern that I was kind of finding on the Aussie Swiss. And here on the big euro dollar, here's the same type of pattern, I believe, playing out. Okay, so there's the lower low, higher low, consolidation in the middle, retest of that consolidation, then breaking to the upside. Realistically, I'm looking for price to hit this level right there. That's what I'm looking for on this particular market. All right. How long is this going to take? I have no idea. This may take 2 years. I don't know. This is a big weekly time frame. But that's what I'm looking for. Seeing this new demand level overlap this supply really gives me credence, or gives me confidence, that price is starting to do something new here. Yes, we are at the top of the range. You know, like if you could draw a line here in the sand, if we even turn off the levels here, you know, like there's something right around in here. This is resistance. We do have this incident of a wick that the wick's above it, but you know, there's something there. You know, like this is your resistance, and we're starting to break that, and I feel like we're going to continue to see that thing break to the upside. So we've been watching this for a few weeks here, obviously, since we're on the big weekly time frame, pointing out this pattern that we're seeing all over the place. How do we get into this? That is a good question. So what I'm looking for is just taking those little pullbacks on the daily time frame. Just looking to buy the little pullbacks here. Okay. I've also put a trend line in place, and that seems to be keeping very well. We have kind of an outskirt type of thing that found support off of this like purple level, but for the most part, it's kind of keeping with this trend line. So I think that's interesting, you know, and we could probably also copy and paste that line and look at the top of a channel as well. So we might be able to see some nice channeling moves. So maybe the next time we get a really good new high, you know, we could easily see up to the top part of this channel line, wherever that is, as price goes along here. So that's what I'm looking at, and that's kind of the way that I see it. There's been numerous ways to get on board here on the euro dollar on the smaller 60-minute time frame. So you can see all the little green diamonds here that are plotted by the method system, and that's just price action confirming the zones. You know, boom, 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 and we're just making new highs there. That gives me, again, a lot of confidence that price is really moving to the upside. The elite software says that we're up and trending now. Yes, we're at the top of the range, but on the it's doing its trending up thing, you know. So I think that's really, really cool. And but we've been looking long on this for quite some time, so it shouldn't really be that big of a surprise for you. We've been looking long for basically the past 2 months, roughly, you know. So just seeing all this stuff come to fruition here. So that's a little bit of what we do every single day here at Appazones. And if you guys like what you see, or if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them. Don't forget to like our channel here, and we will see you next week.